45M wife, 29F, just found out she's pregnant. I had a vasectomy 10 years ago. I had a vasectomy during my first marriage. My ex and I had 3 kids, and we were done. We were ready not to have more. We decided that our family was complete, and at that time, getting the vasectomy just made sense. I was completely convinced I wouldn't have more children. A year ago, I remarried after 3 years of dating. My wife is an incredible person, loyal, loving, and attentive. Throughout all the time we've been together, she's never given me a reason to doubt her. She's the kind of person who's always there for me, listens to me, and supports me in everything. I've been happy with her from the very first day. Plus, I work from home, so there's hardly a moment during the day when I don't know what she's doing. If there were something odd, something that made me suspicious, I would know. But no. My wife hasn't given me any sign that she's been cheating. Not a single sign. In fact, I don't think she even has the time or the opportunity to do so unless she did it at work, but so far, there's been nothing that suggests that's happening. We've always been very open about technology, and we track each other's locations on our iPhones. Neither of us has anything to hide. Over these months, I've never noticed anything strange in her behavior. Nothing that made me think she was acting secretly or in any way out of the ordinary. Everything seemed fine, or at least that's what I thought. But everything changed when we found out she was pregnant. We couldn't believe it. I was stunned, completely shocked. She was equally shocked, but at the same time very happy. Through tears, she said that, according to what she understood, the vasectomy probably failed. I couldn't believe it. At first, I didn't understand how that could be possible. But after doing some research, I discovered that the odds of this happening are very low, around 1%. That means there's a small chance that, for some reason, the vasectomy didn't work, but it could have happened. Such a low probability, but still possible? And now, here I am, feeling like my life has taken an unexpected turn. Now I have 2 options. The first is to ask for a paternity test. Doing so would be the clearest way to know the truth, to confirm whether or not I'm the father. But at the same time, I know that asking for this could destroy our relationship completely. My wife could feel betrayed, and the trust we've built over all this time could come crashing down instantly. Not to mention what this could do to her emotionally. How could I live with myself knowing that I accused her of something that might not even be true? The second option is to say nothing, live with the doubt, and wait until the baby is born. Maybe do a paternity test privately, secretly, to know if I'm the father without causing her any unnecessary pain right now. But that option torments me as well. Carrying that weight on my shoulders day after day, while my wife is filled with excitement and happiness about the future she's creating for us, would be a hard burden to bear. I don't know how I could handle it, and honestly, I don't want to be in that situation. I'm so confused and torn apart by all this. While she's already planning the baby's room, here I am, questioning myself, doubting everything. Should I hate her for what might be happening? Or should I hate myself for not having seen this coming? It's such a complex situation, so full of uncertainties and mixed emotions, I don't know how to act. And there's something else. Something that makes me feel even more selfish. I don't want her to look at me differently. I love her deeply, and I don't want to cause her unnecessary pain. If the vasectomy really failed and, in an impulsive moment, I accused her of something that wasn't true, how would that affect our relationship? How would the dynamic between us change? We know how important trust is in a marriage, and right now, our relationship and the stability we've built together are more valuable than ever. So, although my heart is full of doubt, I know I need to be very careful with every step I take. I don't want to risk losing everything we've built, but at the same time, I can't live with this doubt. What would you do if you were in my place? Would you risk discovering the truth, even if it could cost you everything? Or would you stay silent, fearing what you might discover? This dilemma is eating me up inside. Update 1.
Hello everyone.
Some of you might remember my previous post. My wife had just discovered she was unexpectedly pregnant, and I, after having a vasectomy 10 years ago, couldn't get over the suspicion that she might be cheating on me. I followed the advice of many of you and had a vasectomy checkup. Surprisingly, the doctor told me that my sperm count was very low, but I still had some. This explains why we had been having unprotected sex for many years without any issues, but it also explains why my wife is pregnant now. I feel relieved but also embarrassed for doubting my wife. She is an amazing person, and every day she shows me how important I am to her. And I doubted her before even considering that the problem could have come from the vasectomy. I thought about confessing everything to my wife and telling her about my doubts, but she is so happy and excited. Now she is visibly pregnant, and everywhere we go, we get compliments on how she's glowing. Our relationship is at its best right now, and I don't think I should break her heart just to ease my own guilt. All I can do is be a good husband during this pregnancy and prepare to be a father at 46. Thank you all for your advice. I just wish I had thought about this before rushing to make the wrong conclusions. I thought it would be good to update you on this story. Update 2. After much reflection, I finally decided to talk to my wife. The truth is, I didn't want to keep all of this to myself any longer. Living with that constant burden of doubt, especially when she's so excited and happy about the idea of our future child, I just couldn't keep doing it. The worry was eating me inside, and although I was terrified that she would think I didn't trust her, I knew it was time to be honest. So I told her everything. I explained how I felt, how I had researched failed vasectomies, how I was caught between my suspicions and my love for her. And although I admit I feared her reaction, her response was completely different from what I had imagined. Instead of feeling attacked or upset, she was incredibly understanding. She looked at me with that expression only someone who loves you can give, and she told me she understood why I had doubts. Honestly, her reaction completely surprised me. I didn't expect her to be so open or so willing to talk about something so delicate. At that moment, I realized that I had been afraid of much more than I had anticipated, and that my insecurity had likely led me to create a big storm in my mind over something we didn't even know for sure. I explained that I didn't want to hurt her, that my only concern was that I didn't know how to handle the situation if I wasn't really the father. I told her that I felt incapable of moving forward without knowing the truth. She told me she understood perfectly, that there was nothing wrong with wanting to be sure about something so important. In fact, she suggested that we go to the doctor to check everything again, so I could put that doubt to rest and move forward without fear. The next day we went together to the hospital. At first, I felt strange, as if I was doing something silly, but at the same time, I felt like I needed this clarity to move forward. The consultation was quick. The doctor explained the procedure once more, and they confirmed that my vasectomy had been successful. At first, I felt like I was about to hear news that would change everything, but after a few minutes, the doctor gave us the good news. The vasectomy was still effective. My fears were unfounded. When they told me that, an immense sense of relief washed over me. I can't describe what I felt because in a way, I felt relieved by the result, but at the same time, I felt a mixture of shame and gratitude. Shame because I had doubted her, but gratitude because she was there, willing to support me through all of this without hesitation. I deeply appreciated that not only was she understanding, but she also helped me resolve my insecurities without a second thought. My wife was as relieved as I was, and although the issue was resolved, the emotions were still raw. Now, when I look at her, I can't help but feel a little embarrassed by my doubts, but at the same time, more grateful than ever to have her by my side. We hugged in the doctor's office, and although we were a bit tense from everything that had happened, that hug meant a lot to me. I felt like our relationship had taken a significant step forward, even if it was through vulnerability and honesty.
Update 3.
After the vasectomy checkup and the relief I felt knowing that my wife wasn't cheating on me, I began to focus on supporting her through her pregnancy. There was something liberating about knowing that my fear of the vasectomy failing was unfounded. Although I won't lie, the shadow of doubt still lingered a bit in my mind. Maybe that's why, even though everything was fine, it was hard for me to fully relax and enjoy the process. But as I mentioned before, my wife was so happy and so excited about the arrival of the baby that I couldn't let my insecurities get in the way. She's been handling everything related to the baby's arrival, from decorating the nursery to shopping for everything we need. And even though at times I felt a little left out, I realized that this wasn't about me. This moment is for her, for us as a couple, and all I need to do is be present and be the best support I can be. We decided to enroll in birthing classes, and although at first I saw it as more of an obligation than something truly exciting, I have to admit it was one of the best decisions we made. At first, I thought it was going to be something technical, full of medical information, but in reality, it became an experience that brought us even closer. Sometimes the classes were long, but there was something about being there, sitting together, learning about what's to come, that made me feel more connected to her. And yes, I admit, the little lessons on how we breathe during labor and the relaxation exercises helped me calm down a bit. In the end, each class became a small step towards our parenthood. Of course, not everything has been perfect. As you can imagine, there are days when the nerves get to me. The idea of becoming a father at 46 scares me a little. Sometimes I wonder if I will be prepared enough for this change, and I'm not just talking about the physical side of being a father, but also the emotional side. My wife and I have had many conversations about how we're going to face this new chapter in our lives, and every time we talk about it, I realize how lucky I am to have her. She reassures me, reminds me that this is an adventure we're going to experience together, and that makes me feel much more prepared for what's to come. Although I'm more involved than ever in everything related to the pregnancy, I must be honest. I've had some moments of doubt. Not about her, not about our relationship, but more about my ability to be the kind of father I want to be. Sometimes I wonder if I'll be enough, if I have what it takes to be the support she needs. I sometimes see the excitement on her face, and I feel a little lost, wondering if I'll measure up. I know this is something every father wonders, but these thoughts still linger in my mind. I try very hard to stay positive and not let those fears take over, but I can't help that they creep in from time to time. Something that's also surprised me is how, despite all the insecurities and worries I had in the beginning, my relationship with my wife has improved. We've been more open than ever, talking about what scares us, what excites us, and how we want our life with the baby to be. These moments of vulnerability have strengthened our bond, and now, more than ever, I feel that we're ready to be a family. As for her pregnancy, it's had its ups and downs, as is normal, but she remains incredibly strong and positive. I've noticed that, despite the exhaustion and discomfort, she never loses her smile, and that's something that inspires me every day. I see her glowing more than ever, and every time she talks about our baby, my heart fills with an emotion I can't describe. It's as if this pregnancy has brought us even closer, and the idea of seeing us as parents makes me feel more alive than ever. Update 4. My wife gave birth to our son a few days ago, and honestly, I still can't believe we're parents. Our baby was born healthy and strong, and although the labor was long and exhausting, everything went well. I can't explain what I felt in that exact moment when I first saw our son. It's a completely new feeling, a love I had never experienced before. At first, I was nervous and a little scared of everything that fatherhood would entail. But now that I have him in my arms, all of that has disappeared. All I feel now is deep gratitude and love for my family. My wife's recovery has been impressive. After the birth, she was as strong as always. Sometimes I just watch her handle everything with such grace and dedication. I see her caring for our son with so much love, and I feel incredibly lucky. We've spent these first few weeks in a sort of bubble, enjoying every moment together, learning how to be parents, and sharing the responsibility of caring for our son. Personally, I've never experienced anything so beautiful, yet so challenging at the same time. The lack of sleep, the diapers, the sleepless nights. But everything seems a little less difficult when I see my son's face and watch how my wife has embraced this new role as a mother with so much love. At first, it was hard to find balance. There are moments when you wonder if you're doing it right or if you're missing something. The first few weeks were intense, both emotionally and physically. Although it hasn't been easy, I feel like I've grown so much as a person and as a husband. During the pregnancy, I thought I'd be ready to be a father. But the reality is different. Fatherhood isn't just about being prepared. It's about adapting, learning as you go, and trusting your partner. Something that has surprised me is how my wife has changed, but not in a negative way. Motherhood has transformed her in a way that has left me speechless. She's even more incredible than she already was, and seeing how she's dedicated herself to our son, without reservation, fills me with admiration. Sometimes I look at her and wonder how I could have doubted her at any point. Everything she does now, everything she offers to our family is a reflection of the amazing woman she is, and I'm grateful every day to have her in my life. Of course, like any couple who has just become parents, we've had some arguments, as is natural. The lack of sleep and the exhaustion can bring out the worst in you, but fortunately, we've learned to handle things better and to support each other. In the end, the most important thing is that we continue to communicate, and we continue to be a team. Parenthood has brought us together in a way I wasn't expecting, and every day I feel our relationship growing stronger. As for me, I feel like I'm in a state of constant learning. Now that I'm a father, my perspective on life has completely changed. I'm not the same man I was a few months ago. What used to seem important now feels trivial. What matters most to me now is my family, my son, and my wife. And although nerves and doubts still arise from time to time, I know that together we can handle whatever comes our way. Update 5. I can't believe how quickly time has passed. Our son is already growing, and with each passing day, I feel like my life is taking a different direction, one I never imagined. When I first shared my story here, I was in a very dark place, full of doubts and fears. Today, I feel much more at peace with everything that has happened and the decisions I've made. But above all, I am grateful for the support I received here. I want to take this moment to give you one last update, to share with you how we are now and how far we've come as a couple. Life as parents has been everything I expected, and much more. My wife and I have experienced a whirlwind of emotions since our son came into our lives. Sleepless nights, first laughs, first words. Every moment has been a gift. In a way, I'm surprised by how much one can love another human being in such a short time. Our baby is healthy, happy, and every day he gets more beautiful. My wife has become an amazing mother, so dedicated and loving that I feel lucky to be her partner. At every moment, I see how she gives herself completely to her role as a mother, and how our relationship has transformed into a new phase full of complicity. Although it's been a wonderful journey, it hasn't been without difficulties. We haven't escaped the typical challenges that all new parents face. Arguments from exhaustion, sleepless nights, the constant worry of whether we're doing things right. But despite everything, we've grown so much together. Communication between us has improved greatly. In the past, we sometimes had trouble talking about what we really felt. But now, with everything we've gone through, we understand each other better than ever. We know it won't always be easy, but we also know that together we can face anything. I remember when I felt so insecure, when I was full of doubts about whether my marriage would survive this uncertainty I had created in my mind. But now, after everything, I know that trust and communication are the keys to making any relationship work. I used to think the solution to all my problems was finding quick answers, but I've learned that sometimes the best solution is simply being present and being honest, both with my wife and with myself. What has impacted me the most throughout all this is the huge change I've experienced as a person. I've gone from being someone full of fears and insecurities to someone who now sees life with a different perspective. Becoming a father at 46 wasn't something I had planned, but the truth is, I couldn't be happier. I've realized that instead of worrying about what could have been, I now focus on what I can do to be a good father, a good husband, and above all, a better person. Every time I see my son, I feel like everything that happened before doesn't matter, because now I have a new reason to move forward with joy. As I mentioned before, I feel more connected to my wife than ever. Through all the trials, the doubts, the insecurities, we've managed to stay united and support each other. She has been my rock, and I try to be hers. Raising our son has been an experience that has made us stronger, more supportive, and more compassionate. We've learned not to take anything for granted, to appreciate every moment, no matter how small. Arguments still happen from time to time, as in any relationship, but what matters is how we communicate and how we solve our problems together. I've learned that it's not about being perfect, but about being sincere, recognizing our weaknesses and growing together. And above all, I want to thank each one of you. When I was lost in my doubts, I received so much useful advice and words of encouragement that really helped me change my perspective. I've learned so much from all of you. I'm not the same man I was when I started writing here, What seemed like a huge concern at the time now feels like a phase that's been overcome. And all of that is thanks to the reflection and support I received. Of course, life goes on, and there are still challenges to come. Being parents is a constant adventure, and we know there will be difficult moments ahead. But now, with confidence in ourselves and in our relationship, I know we can face them without fear. And although it won't always be easy, every moment is worth it. I'm excited for everything the future holds, for watching our son grow, for continuing to learn from my wife and from myself, and above all, for continuing to live this wonderful phase of our lives together. Thank you again for being there. I hope you all find the peace, happiness, and clarity that I've found. Life can be complicated, but it's also full of beautiful moments if we have our eyes open to see them.